Good morning from New York. Today, I want to cover a few things. Thanks for subscribing. Those of you who have can help get the message of love out. Um, We need practical approaches to doing that. White trauma therapists and other channel promote practical ways to be more loved and more loving, which is the real answer, plain and simple. I want to cover a few things today. Let's limit anti-democratic home computer monopoly. Use Linux. Democracy, the breath of freedom. Trump, last breath. Kamala, and the mystic communication of love. Okay, what are we gonna say about all this? Well, about Linux, I've been using Linux for many years. Just love it. It's not hard to use. It's easy to install, and there are things that you have to learn. You know, used to Windows, different, but you can learn it, and it's not hard. Did that not, and there are a lot of things you can get um, that do the same thing. Programs on Windows, and there are some Windows programs that will run on Linux. So possible. And I love LibreOffice. It's really great. Right. Find that very, very easy to use. If I were smarter, it would give me a lot more options than I know how to use now. Um, it's a great, writing program. Um, yeah, that's yeah. Right now, what am I using right now? Well, I love Arch Linux. I started with Ubuntu Linux Mint, which is built on Ubuntu, which was made, the early steps to make Linux useful to dummies like Linux Mint Cinnamon is fantastic to start with. You can start with that, and I think the more you grow, then you try out other things and you find what works for you. There's going to be a Linux that works for you. There are many forms of it, different types of desktops. Two prevalent ones are GNOME and KDE. I love KDE because, after you get used to Linux, you know, it has so much potential there. And KDE allows that desktop, that's the user friendly base that you allows you to work the computer. It's graphics user interface. Um, and it's the desktop. Um, the desktop is KDE allows some of that potential to change things and make things the way you want available to people like me who don't have a clue. It's horrific, you know. So I think you'll probably grow, and some of you are going to like 80s, some are going to like GNOME. Um, but that's my preference. Switch to Linux is a great channel to go um, to learn about Linux. Yeah, he's just quite an man. And it's such a monopoly of Windows that Windows and the Macs have. Of course, the worst monopoly, most privacy invading, is Windows. You gotta be a genius to use that and not have it spewing your personal information all over. You know, oh, you're just afraid that law enforcement is following you because you're a criminal. Yeah. The privacy, you know, and people can use that to hurt you. Um, you know, your medical and so many things, steal your ID, and which is safer? Well, I'd rather have the FBI controlling my computer laptop than Microsoft. At least there's smart people there who aren't, in the business of selling my information. They're just protecting society, So that would be, I think, if it were me, I would give them the controls, But no, yeah, it's a free society. I live up democracy. Sometimes there's a little bit of insanity that gets permitted in democracy that can threaten democracy itself. And when it does that, it's gone too far. That's Trump, plain and simple. So, yeah, vote for Kamala. Have half a brain. Come on. Oh, you might be smart, Trump, but study it. Really take a look, and don't think you're a thinker because you always think the same thing. If you can't doubt your most cherished beliefs, you're not much of a thinker, not much of a scientist. Yeah. To be able to doubt even things that you really want to be true. Science doesn't go out trying to prove what makes you feel good. Yeah, it's a pretty dead giveaway that these aren't scientists. Creationists going out trying to find anything that will back up the ludicrous claim that the Earth was created in a short period of time and that there was a universal flood. If there was a universal flood for that long, killed all the trees. It would have been a disaster. And mm, so, no, that didn't happen. Um, I don't know. We go on and on, but it's the thing is, as a going to mystic communication of love, but it's better to show people, give people tools so that they can come to their own conclusion, pushing it. That's one of the main problems I see with education today, and it's been that way. Yeah, like the genius people are the ones who thought for themselves and helped to create the schools. Um, they were into the joy of discovery, and I think with rote learning and memorization for children, kill their uh, joy of discovery, their ability to advance in school to their highest potential. Don't want that for kids. There's something wrong with. Um, we should change the way we're doing things and not teaching kids what to think, how to think. You know, that's the most important thing, and you need to know that there are facts that are pretty much nailed down. Uh, Bible doesn't belong in science. Beautiful passage. I quote them, but it's not science. And people want their company. That's why mystic communication of love, this kind of approach that we try to take on the channel, is to do that in a safe and comfortable kind of way. And it's powerful, but it's something you don't push on people, but that as they understand it more, embrace it more, and that's good. And if it's not for them, or not particularly good for them, then it's self-limiting, and they're not going to do it, and you're capable. That's fine. We love you anyway. Um, but I'm kind of dancing all over the place, kind of like Trump, right? Uh-oh. But I'm not running for president. Oh my God. Anyway, I wouldn't vote for me for president. But doubly so, I wouldn't vote for Trump. Hey, it's that guy's a poor fellow. He needs help. Anyway, we were talking about Linux, and you- I think how do you start? Well, go to switch to Linux. Help you start. Try out Linux Mint Cinnamon. All right, all right, and that cuts into these monopolies. Just have to use a professional. That more things are made for. Use a Mac. Anyway, uh, democracy, the breath of yeah. Without democracy, look around the world. If there's no democracy, there's no human rights. There's no respect of workers as trading. There, where you take away democracy, especially in the workplace, um, that's a place where you trade. And trading partners should not be treated like an extra office machine. Um, Not really. Do that. You don't need a particular person, job. You've got enough people. Um, fine. These are trading. Deserve respect. They deserve the right to organize for their own interests. Same way businesses, and to keep people from doing that, tyrannical. And people that get a whole lot of money off the backs of everybody else who's creating that, doing the creation of that money. Hello, that's not fair. And what's fair? Well, not paying enough taxes so that you have hungry kids. Hello, you need to invest back. To those who are given much, much is you're going to be rich. Invest what made you rich. It only makes sense. That means democracy. That means people being treated like trading partners, not slaves. Businesses can be a cost to workers the same way workers can be a cost to business. I really can't emphasize that enough. This is democracy. This is the breath of freedom, right? Trump is its last breath. Heard a guy on the radio just today, and he was saying he was trying to argue these points of Trump, and it was insane. Really, all of the cities are in decay and they're falling apart in the country. No, they're not. Well, he said that this one city was it was an interview. He was saying that oh, this one city was just, oh, it was dead. This one, no. The guy says, oh, I've been through there, says the interviewer, and I didn't see any kind of problem, that the buildings are all standing, it's clean and kept. He says, yeah, but it's dying business wise. It's just you know, I'm basically describing it, put in my own words, a coffin. Right. Really? It's the death of business. The employment rate is the interviewer points out that the employment rate is 4%. He's going, yeah, but it's what he's talking about. He's wanting to be more greedy. You know, he wants to use the environment, people, and everything like it's okay just to use these things to throw away rather than trading. But yeah, that'll end the human race. It just infuriated. Yeah, he was carrying on about it. And no, cities are doing okay. They have their troubles. Doing okay here in the USA. They're doing okay in Europe. Any other don't. This is just another example of people stirring up anger and fear based on nothing. And when people are doing that, they don't want you to think. Because when you're angry and afraid, are you thinking? Probably not. You said, how many times you said, man, I shouldn't have said it. You said it, you're afraid or angry, right? You got mad, you said something to your wife or your business partner or whatever, and you didn't really mean it. You shouldn't have said it, you know. But that just makes a mess of human communication, and we already have. We see how bad that kind of thing is when you're looking at wars. Wars come out of that greed. Hello Russia, hello China. Why don't you try to be such a fantastic place that people want to join with you the way the nations in the European Union did. They did it democratically. They did it because they wanted to be part of something great. So if you've got something so great, why you got to go over and try to take over somebody else's territory? You should be ashamed. Taiwan is not yours, China. Okay? No, no nation. And you got to be a fair trader. People around you that promotes humanity. Yours are survival. We could be doing so many things that would help us cope with the threat asteroid hitting the real, or the global warming, which could take us out of course, especially if we didn't weren't so angry and we weren't so greedy, powerful. This channel's against that. Grow up. But you got to work that communication. You got to apply creative, passion, objective forms of empathy, meaning you're using those skills in an empathetic way. You got to turn that inside onto yourself. You got to love yourself to love other people. You got to love other people in order to love yourself. It's the love flow. And everybody makes such a big deal this tribalism, like if somebody landed from another planet, they look around and think we all looked alike, which we do. you know, we look a lot like the apes. It's just, why are they killing each other? I'm assuming they will be an advanced or that landing advanced world here. I'd love to see that. That would, oh my God, that'd be eye opening. If they are a lot smarter than we are, would might be looking at us. Pets or food. Oh, maybe good that they don't know if they're there. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, and all of that ability to preserve earth and humanity is not helped by this anger and this. Don't trust people who are coming at you, trying to stir up hatred and fear. I mean, hello. And when is that going to come around back on you? Christians want a Christian nation. Ah, really? That means you're not going to tolerate anybody else. A different, not democracy. And when you were all coming over, Christians were killing each other over whether you should sprinkle a baby or not. You should dunk a person under the water or just sprinkle them on the head. Killing each other. Okay, so my question for those who want a Christian nation is like this 2025 plan seems on. Trump never heard of it. Liar. Yeah, he was part of it. But now he never heard of it? How convenient. Anyway, but I ask, what kind of Christianity are you talking about? Maybe this kind over here is not quite Christian enough for you. Bar them from coming into the country. Persecute them, try to chase them. And when we need labor and we don't give them a green card, what we're saying, what we're really doing is creating slaves. And how using people that way is hurting your state? Really? You go ahead and you kick all of the people out here legally or illegally that are working, helping your city stay afloat. You go ahead and you kick them out, and then you'll be begging for back. Don't be so thoughtful. you know. So, and how you say, "Well, this is about communicating love," and you're talking politics. Well, you can't. You Love has to do with how we communicate to our actions and words and what we do in every sphere, politics or anything. It's the same principles: more empathy, more awareness, more love. Boom. And that's a spirituality that all, it seems that mystics who are into inner mind communication tend to all get along just fine. They even have similar experiences and near death experiences. And it usually doesn't push them toward. And, I'm not arguing that. How would you know? No. But there's some funny things that happen. Meditation, near death experiences point to, so maybe there's something a little than what we imagine. What is it? Yeah, so like the Buddha said, just set that aside. Aim toward greater love, wisdom, which will give you enlightenment. So I'm talking kind of covered democracy and the breath of freedom. Trump, its last breath. Oh yeah, that guy. I hope I mentioned that he said the one of the interviewer of the fellow who was supporting Trump that I mentioned earlier also was questioned by the interviewer, saying, "You think he'll give up power?" And the other fellow arguing for him says, "It's my assumption that he will." He didn't last time. Are you kidding me? He didn't last time. What makes you think he's going to do it the next time? Hmm? That's just nuts. Of course, he's not. Give up. Oh. And the guy got away with it. He just there. The other guy's just very polite with him. Didn't even argue with him. He should have. That's ridiculous. It reminded me of Trump's statement, says, "I have the concept of a plan. I have an assumption that he would give up power. I have an assumption." Yeah, that concept of a plan and that assumption, I don't believe in either one of them. If you do, um, sit down, calm down, and think. Wow. Know what you really should be afraid. You don't even know what you should be afraid of and what you should be angry about if you're all stirred up with anger and fear. You got to calm down and think. How it plays into. And right now, we can be very afraid that Trump tried to be a dictator. He's already shown that he. And on, they were trying to hang his own vice president. There's just no rational reason to vote for Trump. Right now, whether you're conservative or liberal or whatever, vote for Kamala. When I'm talking progressive, I'm talking about what helps progress. There's some things we need to be a little more conservative about and work that out together. But we should aim at progress, whatever your position in the spectrum. Aim at progress. Find common ground. Let's get this country moving forward again. This is time where we really need Mystic communication of love. Kamala, she's bringing joy and love and facts. Let's hope she can prosecute her case. She is, she's a beautiful person, really. And I think, and beautiful people are supporting her, like Joe Biden and Barack Obama and Michelle. I mean, beautiful people, beautiful people. Anyway, kind, caring, rational, just like Kamala. They communicate love. When Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. Yeah. Then people said, well, I can't do that. And yeah, you can. Trump's a sick man. He needs to be in a secure facility where he is not allowed to influence society. And he's being treated, for the sake of his kids and everybody who is in his family, to treat him, get him well. Then we'll let him go. You can succeed. And if you can't, keep him a little longer. That's the way we need to do things. And this punishing attitude, that we got to give that up. We need to become more healing the way the mist hits people. Right? So I'm going to wrap this up. May the road of love rise to you be walk there. Of faith, hope, light that hope, burn, Democrat. Till we meet again. Well, may you find thanks, opportunities to give that enrich your life. Say thank you, everyone. Whether in the supermarket or wherever, make sure, occasion